decision to build a national cathedral at the heart of Accra heats up as 9 judges are asked to relocate. CitiNews will bring you details.
Also, freight forwarders begin strike over implementation of cargo tracking notes at the ports.
Also coming up, we'll bring you the story of over 400 workers of defunct Beige Bank who have lost their jobs.
And later, Ashanti Region Police apprehend suspected killer of journalist murdered at Bekwai some 4 months ago.
Let's bring you the details of the stories. And the construction of an interdenominational national cathedral, which ordinarily should have been a unifying agenda, is rather creating rancor and despondence among sections of the Ghanaian public.
Now, while some question the priorities of a secular state government in deciding to undertake such a project, others simply say they cannot understand why the government is willing to sacrifice critical national assets for it. My colleague Sixtus Donwulo has details.
The 5,000-seat capacity National Cathedral project was inaugurated by President Akufo-Addo in March last year with a 13-member committee tasked with overseeing the 14-acre land project. When completed, in addition, will house a number of chapels, a baptistry, a music school, an art gallery, and a Bible museum and documentation center. A stretch of land from the Rich Roundabout through the Scholarship Secretariat, the Judicial Training Institute, to the Passport Office just behind the boundaries of Parliament House. This area, described as prime lands, also hosts 10 6-bedroom bungalows, which were built barely 5 years ago to house judges of the Court of Appeal. It also housed the College of Physicians and Surgeons. About 9 judges who live in the area, including other residents, have however been reportedly served eviction notice to vacate the area for immediate construction works to begin. A private legal practitioner, Samson Ladi Ayenene, dares to describe this as constituting interference with judicial independence as much as it smacks of continuing disregard for the welfare of judges. The project design, according to its architect, David Aye, is inspired by the concepts of unity, harmony, and spirituality. And President Akufo-Addo believes this cathedral will address the missing link in our nation's architecture by providing a church of national purpose. And a national purpose, however, does not seem to have been embraced nationally, as many others continue to speak against it. The CPP's director of it, James Kobna-Bonfe, has even sued government over the decision, arguing that it is unconstitutional for the state to be seen to be promoting any tactics do not represent the facts on the ground. The sources say the 13-member committee supervising the project will address all hidden issues at a press conference tomorrow.
So let's stay with that particular story now and track the trajectory of how we got here. And my colleague Sixtus Donwulo, who did our report, has joined me in studio. Sixtus, you're welcome to the City Newsroom. So give us a background, how a nation called Ghana decided to put up a cathedral, a national cathedral that has led to all the issues we're seeing.
Somewhere late last year, early last year, rather, in March, President Akufo-Addo inaugurated the project. He said that in cutting sword for the project, he said it was necessary because it was going to provide that unifying force for the country, one central point at which the nation can offer prayers and the nation can converge to do other things. So if you look at the project design, for instance, it's the facility will be used also for national ceremonies, the inaugurations of presidents. It will be used for funerals and so many other events. So this is actually supposed to be a symbol of unity, one that would unify not just the Christian faith in the country, but also all other people within the country.
Do we have unison in supporting this particular project by the Christian faith in Ghana?
Yes. The Christian faith in Ghana ordinarily is not against the projects in principle and indeed. If you trace the story right from last year in March, when the president first mentioned it and the sword was cut for the project, the Christian community within the consistently supported it. And indeed, if you look at the board, you see representation from various denominations on it. So you would have the Christian, you would have the Catholic bishops, you would have Pentecostal, you would have all other. The controversy do not come from within the Christian community. It comes from outside. If you look at some of the arguments that have been put forth by some lawyers, for instance, it's not in principle questioning the relevance of this particular project, but the location of it. So, for instance, we have heard one lawyer mention that if you look at the particular area that we are talking about, this a prime location, prime land, the value of that land, indeed, if you were to sell it, you would make a lot out of it. And so, why don't we use that particular location, develop that particular location into a judicial enclave, for instance? That's the argument. Okay. Judicial enclave, because you would have the justices living within that particular enclave. You would have the Judicial Training Institute also within the same enclave. So the argument is, let's further develop it so that we can have a one-stop area for everything judiciary in the country. Okay. That's the argument.
So it's like a judicial complex.
Complex, if you like. Now, the other opposition to it, in spirit, if you look at a suit that was filed by the elections director for the Convention People's Party, Kobna Bonfe, he argues that if you look at our constitution, no particular government is allowed to meddle in religion or religious affairs. So as a secular state, per the language of our constitution, the government cannot regulate or promote or do anything of the sort that would seek to promote one religion over the other. Okay. But the question again arises, government supports or plays a key role in the organization of Hajj. Can that be construed to mean a facilitation, a promotion of Islam? Okay. So the argument from some other quarters that we have heard, that's within the government circles, is, well, if government can actually even allocate land for a national mosque, can facilitate Hajj, why can't government give land for the construction of a national cathedral?
Okay, but that's not the bone of contention now. The bone of contention is that some judges will be sent packing from this place that we are going to have the central cathedral. What is the story there?
That is what the lawyers who have spoken up on this particular case have raised. That if you look at the nature or architecture of this particular zone, it allows us to properly police our justices, if you like.
No, my point is that some judges are going to be moved from this particular area.
Exactly.
What is the story?
They have already been moved.
Okay, they've already left.
They've already left. We understand that nine judges in all, 6 of them voluntarily moved. You know, when they saw the alternative that was available to them, they went to inspect the temporary arrangement that had been made by a developer who is supposed to be developing a quarters for judges. They went to see the alternative, and they said they preferred that particular alternative to where they currently are, which is within the location in contention. So they moved, 6 of them. Now, 2 of them also said they could not move immediately because they were out of town, but were willing to move as and when they came into town and are able to settle in. Now, per the information we have, only one judge decided that even without seeing the place, he or she didn't want to move at all, because he or she either felt that it was unfair, you are compulsorily moving them out of the area without recourse to other considerations. Okay. You see, but again, our sources.
But he has subsequently agreed.
Yes, our sources also tell us that upon visiting the place, the temporary arrangement, he preferred it or she preferred it to the temporary arrangement.
Now, so the plan is to move these judges from Ridge, or East Ridge as it's called,
East Ridge,
and build them permanent residences at cantonments. That's what we are told. But there will be temporary residence for them. Now, the Chief Justice has conceded that the notice to the judges has been rather too short. And there's an apology we have, don't we?
Yes, we have a copy of that apology signed by Justice Julius Ansah, acting on behalf of the Chief Justice. And per what we have, the document that we have seen, it simply says that we're supposed to have given you earlier notice for this particular movement, but we could not do that, and we are sorry for that. That's the context of it. Copied to about 9 of the justices, of the affected justices, Justice B.L. Surubare, amongst others, yes.
Thank you very much, Sixtus Don Ulo of the City Newsroom. So stay with us. We'll be having more on this developing story as and when there are further legs to share with you. But let's move on now. And the Passport Office says it will soon publish the names of persons who have failed to pick up their processed passports, although they are ready for collection. The Director of Office, that's the Office of Passport, Amano Daku Mante, in an interview on the City Breakfast Show today, revealed that about 67,000 uncollected passports are currently in their possession. He explained that most of the applicants had applied through middlemen who had used addresses that are difficult to trace, hence the situation. Mr. Daku Mante explanations follow concerns raised by some members of the public who accuse the Passport Office of frustrating their efforts at acquiring passports. According to him, his outfit is going to publish all the names of those uncollected passports. He further advised the general public to desist from applying through middlemen, popularly called Guru Boys. Move on to the next story, and government has filed a motion at the Accra High Court to officially withdraw its liquidation petition against the Ghana Football Association GFA. This is in fulfillment of an agreement signed with FIFA on August 16, 2018. Per the agreement, FIFA, in consultation with Government of Ghana and CAF, will establish a normalization committee to replace the current executive committee of the Ghana Football Association. My colleague Fred Tete Jabano has more.
The Attorney General, who is the legal representative of government, today filed a motion at the High Court, the Commercial Division to be specific, where it is challenging or asking for the liquidation of the GFA and the total dissolution of the association based on the expose from ANAS, where some corrupt practices and acts were shown in a video. The AG is doing so because of an agreement it reached with government. The AG is doing so because of an agreement it reached with FIFA over the court case and the injunction placed on the GFA. As we speak now, the GFA is not functioning. FIFA, some few weeks ago, issued a strong warning to the government saying that if they do not withdraw this case, they would go and suspend the country from participating in any international games organized by FIFA. This led to some government representatives going to meet FIFA at their headquarters in Zurich, where there were some agreements reached. And one of these agreements was the fact that the government will withdraw this current suit before the court. The current suit before the court, government has taken steps to withdraw it. Tomorrow the case will be called and there will be a formal withdrawal of the case. What is going to happen is that the normal formalities will take place. Government will move the motion for withdrawal. The defense, which is the GFA, will be asked whether they oppose or not. We do not expect the GFA to oppose. So we are expecting a smooth run tomorrow. The case will be withdrawn and that will be it. But then what is going to happen is that when the case is withdrawn, the injunction which has been placed on the GFA and its executive members will be taken off because the case has been withdrawn, meaning that the executive committee of the GFA would come back into place. We are also expecting that once this withdrawal takes place, FIFA would announce a normalization committee, and to ensure that the executive committee is dissolved and the football in this country is run by this normalization committee as agreed with government for a particular period of time where elections will be taking place for new executives to run the association.
Now, a 23-year-old man is in the grips of the police in the Eastern region for allegedly posing as a lawyer at the Kofedra Circuit Court. The suspect, Emmanuel Mafu, appeared in court purporting to represent a client in a civil suit during a sit-in. Luck, however, eluded him when presiding judge, Her Ladyship Evelyn Asamoah, found his conduct suspicious during the court proceedings following his inability to present and argue his case professionally.
Now, Emmanuel Mafu was subsequently handed over to the court warrant office. You're still watching the City Newsroom, coming to you live from our studios here at Adabraka in Accra on City TV. I am Umaru Sandamadu here with
Vivian Kai Local. When we come back, we'll bring you the story of over 400 workers of defunct Beige Bank who have lost their jobs. Don't go away.
Good evening, this is The Point of View. We're live on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascading through the economy?
Of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Go.
Hello and welcome to another day, another week, and of course another episode of 30 Minutes. We're excited and we will be talking about all the trending conversations.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Shatta, why are you being so raw and hard like that? But at that particular time, that's what I wanted to do it. But that doesn't mean you are my enemy. That's true. We can still meet again and Shatta, this time we are about to do, don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give respect to each other. But sometimes I feel, you know, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, Shatta, hey, no, I might want to say something. Yeah. So, but when I say it, people shouldn't take it like taking things, you know, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it. Like
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
And welcome back to the City Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Local. Now, freight forwarders in Tema are currently on strike over their disagreements with the implementation of the cargo tracking notes, that's the CTN system at the ports. According to them, the policy, when implemented by the government, will impede trade facilitation. Now, City News' Tema correspondent Elvis Washington has more.
I'm here at the no freight forwarder is actually going to pay freight. So if you come to the long room here, you can hardly see.
Because CTN talks about penalties. For the best of our knowledge, when this process, when semblance of this process was attempted in 2015, we know there is LI 2190 backing it, but it was called off. LI 2190 is under the Shippers Authority. Okay, so we asked that question there. With what authority is the GRA coming to town with the CTN? Because the issues of penalty comes in. When the issues of penalty come in, it is only the Parliament of Ghana that gives that authority.
We are back on the strike concerning the CTN.
Yeah. So
we want to stop it. We don't want the those who are interested in their pocket to get anything. This thing, it will go to the last consumer, because as we are here to stop it. Automatically, at the end of the day, it will be pushed to the last consumer.
There's some group of people go to some sort of consultant, and then it's like, oh, come and push this lava. You're making so much money. Okay? Nothing is coming to the government. This is what people must know. What the Director General is saying in the first place, that CTN is not going to have any knowing what they're going to pay. That's not true.
Is the long today freight forwarders have decided to embark on a strike of not paying duty for 3 days. To them, CTN policy must be scrapped, and until such time they will demonstrate. They will not pay duty for 3 days to register their protest. Visit Elvis Washington reporting from the long room at the Tema Port.
So let's move on to some other stories. And remaining staff of defunct Beige Bank are living in anxiety as over 400 of their colleagues have been asked to exit the company in the next 2 weeks. Now, those affected include 100 fresh graduates who were absorbed by the company as part of its corporate social responsibility to workers' tellers. Others are workers in the micro-banking department who are responsible for small and medium-scale businesses. Workers of the bank were given 60 days by Consolidated Bank, after which they will be assessed and reappointed. But before the 2 months elapse, some workers have been asked to go home. In the studio, I have a former worker of defunct Beige Bank, Wisdom Goku. He'll tell us more about this developing story. Wisdom, welcome to the City Newsroom.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right. So how long have you, did you work with Beige Bank?
2 years.
2 years. And at that period, what were you doing? What were your responsibilities?
I was a financial service officer. Basically, we are fraud workers. We bring in more funds to the bank.
Okay. And you were on contract?
Yes, please.
How long have you been on contract?
For 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
And when was your contract supposed to be renewed this year?
It's in July.
So technically, you should have been made to go, but you were absorbed by Consolidated Bank, no?
Yes. The communication was we were absorbed by the Beige Bank into the new Consolidated Bank. And we were supposed to be given the contract that was signed by the defunct Beige Bank to stay on as 60 days for as workers, but we were not given that letter. And then also we worked for the month of July and then August. We were not given our July pay, and then last Friday workers were being paid for the month of August, but that one too was not given to us, and then no communication whatsoever was done to us. All we are demanding for is that we need to be paid our July and August salaries.
Have you spoken to the bank, that's Consolidated Bank, over these issues to do with pay and issues of letting go when technically there's a contract that says you should be made to stay on?
Yes, actually there was no one to speak to. Our former bosses were not willing to help us, so we were left hanging.
Are your former bosses, have they been absorbed as well? They been made to let go?
Yes, we want Labour Commission to come in and then let us get what we are duly worked for, what we are entitled to. We want that to be paid to us, because we don't know our fate. And then when the takeover happened, we were told that we should remain calm and be at post. And then there was a letter or a mail to that effect that they are apologizing to us. We will be paid as and when they are ready, so we should remain calm. And then as at now, our pay has not been given to us. And then we were also told that the Beige Bank has absorbed our staff. So we don't understand why we should not be given the 60 days contract to be signed. And now they are asking us to go home. They are asking us to. We were given a letter today terminating our appointment.
Who gave you that letter?
The letter was sent to the brand, effective immediately. We are not supposed to come to work again. Meanwhile, our pay has not been.
Which branch of the bank is this?
East Legon American House.
Okay.
Yeah, but all the micro banking team has been dissolved, and we have been asked to go home. But all we are asking for is that we want our pay, and then a compensation, 3-month compensation for what we have duly worked for.
So you about 400 that were affected.
Yes, actually, that number in the media is not correct.
What is the correct figure?
Yeah, the correct figure is about 760 something.
Okay, yes. 700, and all of you were temporary staff with Beige at the time?
Yes, some were absorbed as permanent staff. You know, we have food tellers, and then financial service officers, and then we have what we call FBOs, and then food banking supervisors, FBS. The FBOs, they supervise the food tellers, and then the FBA, that is the food banking supervisors, also supervise the FSOs and all that. And then we also have FSO supervisors as well. Now, all those people have been asked to go home. And then some were paid last Friday, but we were not paid at all.
And so nobody has given you a reason why you in particular haven't been paid. That's this group.
Yes. When we
inquired.
Yes, when we inquired, they only tell us that we should remain calm, they will pay. But as at now, we have not received any official communication from anywhere that we will be paid.
Okay. How has this development hit you? Because obviously you were expecting that you will be absorbed based on the promise you had and the notice that was given to you. Besides, you also told that you were on probation and you will be reassessed. All this has been thrown away. How has this hit you and your colleagues?
It's really affecting us because we felt used. We were really working our hearts out for this company. So we felt used because we were told that we should remain calm and that Beige Bank has absorbed us as staff. Okay, so what we were expecting is that we will be also being given the 60 days contract by the consolidated bank to sign so that all the benefits due us will be given. But as at now, none of that has happened. Okay, and then we've been asked to remain at post. So all the little money we have on us, we are using it on transport and all that. And now they're asking us to go home. So we don't know what we'll be living on before finding another job. So all we are asking for is that our 2 months pay should be given to us, and then a compensation should also be given to us as a package to go home. I can't give a exact figure, but we are about 5,000.
5,000, yes. Beige Bank alone?
Yes, 5,000.
Across the country?
Yeah.
How many branches did you have in Accra alone? Do you have an idea?
I can't give.
But you would admit that keeping, for example, with Beige, 5,000 workers, absorbing them as consolidated bank is impossible, and you have to be made to go. Some of you, at least 3,000.
Yes, we don't have a problem with that. But all we are asking for is that we want to be paid for what we are due. We have worked for the month of July, and then when the takeover happened, we were asked to remain calm and remain at post. There was even mails to that effect, that we should keep calm and keep doing our works diligently, of which we have been doing so far. So we don't understand why they will ask us to go home without any compensation, without any salary, or without any money to go and take care of ourselves while trying to find something else for ourselves. So that is what we are asking for, that we need to be paid our 2 months salary and then a compensation package to be given to us, so that we'll live on that till we get something to do.
Okay. We've seen the likes of UT Bank workers and Capital Bank workers who were made to go last year. As we speak, they've still not gotten their severance package or compensation, etc. Do you fear the same may happen to you people?
Exactly. That is why we want Labour Commission and all the stakeholders to come in to our aid. We are begging them, because some of us, we have dedicated our lives to this work. We risk our lives. We are food workers. And when you go to the food, you encounter a lot of challenges and problems. In the financial sector, people think that we are thieves. So when you go to people, you want to talk to them, interact with them, they're even trying to lynch you or beat you up or something. We had a personal encounter with a woman who nearly poured hot oil on us because he had an experience with other financial workers who would beat her with her money. So we can't risk our lives and to that extent, and then we'll go home empty-handed. So we want our pay to be given to us immediately.
Right. And finally, if the Labour Commission and other stakeholders are not able to solve this problem for you, what's next for you? Court action, or what do you intend to do?
Well, if we have to go to that extent, we will, but we will need help.
Okay. Thank you very much. Wisdom Goko, he's an ex-worker of the defunct Beige company, speaking to us there over issues to do with compensation. We'll bring you more on this development story as we go. Let's move on to some other stories. And owners of Lushan International Energy Ghana Limited, operators of the Salt Pond oil fields, have disputed an 84.1 million cedi debt attributed to them by defunct UT Bank. Now, the CEO of Lushan International Energy, Quinton Sintim, tells City Business News the claims are untrue. In the following report, Pius Emiya Duko looks at the arguments put forward by Mr. Sintim Abuaji, absolving his company of any blame.
A report by Builders Advisors stated that Quincy Sintim Abuaji and related companies owed the erstwhile UT Bank to the tune of 84.1 million cedis. But it is emerging, according to claims by Mr. Sintim Abuaji, that UT Bank colluded with a former project manager of Salt Pond Offshore Producing Company, Kennedy Oham, to defraud Lushan and the government of Ghana to the tune of $102.4 million. Again, Mr. Sintim stresses that the duo misrepresented Eclipse purported to be owned by Oham as a subsidiary of Lushan, where bank guarantees were issued to enable the company to defraud Ghana.
Yes, it's not true. Because if you look through our activities and what we have uncovered, it will shed light on the truth. And actually, it's the other way around. UT colluded with others and used our letters of credit and the company's account to defraud the company to the tune of about almost $103 million, 102 and some change. But if you average, it's about $103 million. And then also, we've uncovered some documents from the court system, the commercial court, about some bank accounts that UT Bank, as a Nigerian lady's account that UT Bank used to launder money using the company's name and the letters of credit that we have. They were wiring money into the account, $23 million in the company's name, and the $20 million will go out. You don't know where it came from, you don't know where it went. There's another one for $30 million being taken out, and another one for $11 million. Those are a host of it, and it's in the court system. It's actually exhibits of the court. And when we saw all these collusions that were going on using our accounts, money was being taken from our accounts without a notice.
The unapproved transactions have been ongoing between 2014 and 2015, which obviously contributed to the woes of the Salt Pond oil field. This also means that Lushan Energy is indebted to some of its suppliers, which has become a burden to be cleared. Here is Mr. Sintim Abuaji again.
So what we are doing is talking to them, telling them to hold their peace. All we need to is get back and start production again. And we will negotiate with them to actually start operations again and then get payments. We'll just pay them as we spread and we'll go along the way. So it's something that we have talked to most of them to negotiate terms.
How much are you anticipating to pay eventually?
I don't know for sure. I mean, I need to get my accountant to sit with them. And some of them are not much. Local supplies of food, $18,000, 20,000 cedis, maybe rent for engineers, 25,000. Those are minimal stuff. And now what we're doing is we have an investor who wants to come and pump in money to revitalize the field. And then when they do that, there'll be more production, more revenue, and we can pay.
Lushan is currently pursuing the case in court, and Mr. Sintim Abuaji is hoping that the new managers of defunct UT and Capital Bank, that is GCB Bank, will duly compensate the company.
I think way forward is better than fighting in court. We intend to sit with Ghana Commercial Bank, look at all these details, if the security agencies get involved, and find a win-win situation forward. Because God has blessed Ghana that at Sopon, there's still more oil to be recovered, to make. So there's no need to fight in court about this. And so if they are amenable to negotiation, we can negotiate and look a way forward.
The denial by Lushan brings to 2 the number of companies that have dismissed claims that their indebtedness to UT Bank partly accounted for the bank's collapse. Earlier, the lawyers for engineers and planners encompassing Jata Cement clarified that the bank rather failed to fulfill its part of an agreement to provide credit facility for the construction of a cement factory.
And the governing board of the Metro Mass Transit Limited MMT has indicated that it will sanction drivers whose attitude are affecting the growth of a company. According to them, the company is not financially stable due to the dwindling number of passengers.
Speaking at a ceremony to hand over 30 new buses to the company, board chairman of MMT, Ahmed Arthur, revealed that the company can increase its workforce to a minimum of 10,000 workers if drivers establish good relationship with their passengers.
The new air-conditioned buses will ply the Accra to Tamale, Accra to Boko, Takoradi to Kumasi, Kumasi to Bolga, and Kumasi to Hamle routes, just to mention a few. According to the board chairman for the Metro Mass Transit Limited, Ahmed Arthur, the transport company is ready to offer the best services to Ghanaians, hence the new additions.
We want to make sure that we discharge our duties creditably well and offer the best service to Ghanaians. Metro Mass is an institution or a transport company that has no competition. Because when you look at the work that we do and our charges, no transport company can compare their charges to our charges. Currently, as we speak now, if you look behind me, you see these new beautiful buses that we have. This is just a few of the buses that we are showing to the general public. But we want to assure you that we have a lot of these buses coming on board to come and replace the old buses that we have. And so for Metro Mass, our vision will still stand by it to ensure that we provide the service at an affordable cost.
Mr. Arthur was quick to add that the company will not hesitate to sanction recalcitrant drivers whose attitude affects the progress of MMT.
It does not mean that we will not come and check you. It does not mean that when you do the wrong thing, you will not be checked. There are going to be strict sanctions that will be applied. Metro Mass has the potential, with the number of buses we have, if you are working efficiently and bringing in the money as you are supposed to do, Metro Mass has the potential to employ no less than 10,000 workers. And that will add to the workforce of Ghanaians.
Commuters who expressed their excitement about the new buses called on management to maintain it well to avoid frequent breakdowns.
They say bus need your oil, but maintenance no here because our maintenance are very poor.
The passengers should pick up their disposable things and then take it to their house. So they shouldn't leave it in the bus. It should be very neat and very comfortable for all of us.
On their part, drivers of the MMT buses pledged to ensure that the buses are maintained and will do well to observe all road safety measures.
Getting a new bus is very, very important for the drivers because the other ones are old. And the drivers, our duties is to ensure that we always take very good care of the buses. As we have been given a new buses. Our duty is to make sure that we take very good care of the buses.
Every time if we're loading here to Obase or here to Accra, if we park, we go sweep inside the car and go wash the car, do everything correct before we take passengers.
Metro Mass Transit Limited has received 30 new buses and a lot more will follow. This is to deliver better services to commuters. For City News, Philip Neil Latte.
Now, police in the Ashanti region have arrested a 36-year-old man suspected in connection with the murder of a Des FM journalist in the Bekwai municipality. The suspect, Philip Akumenin, also known as Atapeni, was picked up at Petransa in the Asante Achim Central District over the weekend. Portia Ejewa, on 15th April 2018, was found in a pool of blood in front of her room at Nyamiduasi, a suburb of Bekwai. Preliminary investigations by police at the time revealed that the deceased was stabbed in the chest, thigh and left arm with a sharp object believed to be a knife. She was pronounced dead on arrival at the Bekwai Government Hospital. Addressing journalists in Kumasi, Deputy Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP Fred Edu Enim said the suspect went into hiding in Accra after the murder of the deceased journalist whom he was cohabitating with.
The suspect, Philip Akumeni, 36, alias Atapeni, and deceased Portia Ejewa, an ex-employee of Des FM Bekwai, were lovers. The suspect all along posed as a military officer. The suspect and the deceased were living at Kaswa in the central region until 2018, when the deceased had a job at Des FM Bekwai in Ashanti. The lovers rented a room at Nyamiduasi, a suburb of Bekwai, where they were cohabiting. On 15/4/2018, at about 8:30 p.m., a misunderstanding ensued between the suspect and the deceased, when the latter threatened to end the relationship with the suspect. The suspect, who became aggrieved, attacked the deceased with a double-edged knife and inflicted multiple knife wounds on the chest, in between the breasts, left hand, and right thigh, leading to her death. After the incident, the suspect bolted to Asimfosu in the central region, where he hails from, and later to Southern Command Teshin, Accra, to seek refuge. On 24/8/2018, upon intelligence and with the help of the military, the suspect was traced and arrested at Petransa, Asante Achim, where he had attended a funeral. In his caution statement, he admitted offense of murder and subsequently led police to Asimfosu in the central region, where the knife that he used in killing the deceased was retrieved. On 27/8/2018, the suspect was arraigned before court and has since been remanded into custody.
Okay. Vivian, so it is good that the police are acting. I mean, for a journalist who is just doing their job and she gets killed by someone who she was cohabitating with.
That's right. Very sad
very
case.
Sad.
Yeah, it's very
and I'm
sad.
really happy to see that the police are taking action.
And very scary to think that your co-neighbor or your neighbor or somebody close to you can do that to you. It's very sad.
You can't be safe.
But we need to know what led him to do that. Because
I'm sure we'll be in the courts and we'll hear how he pleads and what his defense would be. That's if he ever has any defense. But it's a terrible story.
Yeah, very sad. I mean, his soul rest in peace, though. But Charlie Wate. You went to Charlie Wate, didn't you?
Saturday was Charlie Wate.
Oh, I saw your selfies with your family, my pretty girls.
Charlie Wate is what we say, Charlie Wate.
Where? Guy mentioned what? Charlie Wate.
Minuga.
Oh, Minuga. So when we come back, this year's edition of the Charlie Wate Street Art Festival ended in Jamestown, Accra on Sunday. We'll bring you highlights from the event. Don't go away.
regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, politics, sports.
You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Stoneboy SSO. Keep it locked. Don't log off.
We spice up your mornings with culturally enriched conversations, social interviews, and policy-oriented discussions that will keep you updated on the progress of the nation.
And that is the reason I was making the point to him that I refrained from responding to this Joyce Bauer statement. Because if some citizens have accused President Mahama of diverting a certain amount of money, deal with that, deny same, and move on with your life.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Let your voice be heard with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. Join us for breakfast daily, only on City TV.
And welcome back to the City Newsroom. My name is Vivian Ka Iloko. Now, the Upper West Regional Office of the Electoral Commission has hinted that it is in the process of creating 117 new electoral areas in the region. The figure, according to the Commission, will increase the number of electoral areas from the current 293 to 410. My colleague Latif Mahama has more.
The Upper West Regional Office of the Electoral Commission has hinted that it is in the process to create 117 new electoral areas in the region. The figure, according to the Commission, will increase the number of electoral areas from the current 293 to 410. The Upper West Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Azu Bosco, disclosed this at a stakeholders meeting organized by the Commission in Wa. Is to bring democracy to the doorsteps of the ordinary citizens in a bid to help them contribute significantly to the decision-making process. The director, however, explained that the new electoral areas could increase or reduce depending on the outcome of an ongoing consultative process across the 11 districts of the region. The Wa East and the Dafiama Buse Isa districts, which had 25 and 15, the Jirapa municipality, which currently has the highest number of 37 electoral areas, will get an additional 14, whereas the Wa municipality will increase from 31 to 41. The Wa West district will move from its current 28 electoral areas to 39, and the Nandom district will be adding 9 to their existing 25 electoral areas. The Lora municipality will get 10 added to their 29, while the Lambuse district will get 6 added to their 25 old electoral areas. The Nadoli Keleu has the least proposed areas, with 5 added to its existing 36. Mr. Azu admonished the various stakeholders to educate the populace.
We have so many conflicts around this area. We are trying, by so doing, we also stop the conflicts. So we are trying very much to do whatever we can to get all this. You know, even especially with the naming the areas, it also gives us a lot of problems. So we want to involve the local people to get the real names of the areas, like UDS letter area. It's not the name of the place. We need a local name, so we'll get the right name so people will not take us to court and then see that we have done the wrong thing.
In his view, it is only when the country has an educated population that it can have an improved electoral process. The EC's commissioner in charge of the Upper West region appealed to traditional rulers in the region to cooperate with the EC and assist in educating their subjects to know the electoral areas they belong to.
And the inputs we have made so far show that when we go to the various districts, we will still have a lot to do. So I'm only appealing to most of you to try and attend the forum on the specified dates on the timetable given to all of you, so that whatever concerns, issues, challenges you are anticipating can all be expressed there, and the actual solution can be given.
From Wa, Latif Mahama,
City News.
Now, the 8th edition of the Chalewote Street Art Festival has ended in Jamestown. Thousands of people, both local and international, joined in the Street Art Festival, which was full of fun and excitement. Sanda.
Now, the festival saw performances, music, dance, and a rich display of arts. For the first time since its inception, it was graced by the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
The Chalewote Street Art Festival is the biggest festival to hit West Africa. The festival, which aims to promote the rich culture and heritage of Ghana, saw over 40,000 people attending this colorful event. The much patronized festival was graced by the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, accompanied by a delegation of ministers and members of parliament, making him the first president to ever partake in this event. The annual week-long festival was filled with a lot of exciting activities, ranging from the Sika Sika Art Fest to the Northern Experience and then the Masquerade Jam.
Well, I'm here as a participating artist, so I'm hoping to show and share the work. I'm representing a collective of 22 artists who are unfortunately not with me. So I'm going to be sharing our experience of working together across a very eclectic group of artists.
I feel like I'm coming home, to a place that I need to experience, This really feels like home.
It's tradition. It's spiritual in a sense. It's a purpose. They do it with a purpose. So just experiencing the culture.
It's been fun. I mean, nice people, a lot of pretty girls.
The flamboyant event was crowned with an amazing carnival held on the streets of Jamestown in Accra on Saturday and Sunday. The carnival was filled with exciting and educative and the Kiss Boxing Corner to a traditional display of royalty and street painting. This event showcased the creativity and originality of Ghanaians. The Chalewote Street Art Festival is indeed a gateway to improve tourism in Ghana.
Wow, beautiful art.
You saw those guys there. I encountered them live and color. They were masculine.
Huge.
Yeah, I actually gave them way.
So
I didn't want to engage in a street.
Meter.
I didn't want to engage in a street fight. I mean, I didn't want the newspapers to say "Slim man beats big man." I mean, that would be very.
And you saw the snake thing. I hate snakes.
Well, Vivian,
I couldn't do that.
Snakes don't attack until you attack them.
Oh,
so
yeah, right. But why play with one, knowing how dangerous they can be?
It's a
pet. Do you have one as a pet?
I mean, I wish I could, but that was fun. Chalewote was fun. Except that, Vivian, I need to say quickly to the organizers, please, the street should be a bit demarcated because it was a lot of push and shoving in the crowd was huge, and I'm sure they could have managed it better. And even though I saw police stands and so on, I think if there was any stampede, it would have been a problem.
Yeah, and the numbers are going to get bigger next year, so I hope that they take what you're saying. But that's it for City Newsroom. Visit CitiNewsroom.com. My name is Vivian Kai Loko.
And I am Umaru Sandamadu. Thank you for viewing.
Good night.